Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Beneath the Lift Tower. My name's Charles McGillivray, and as always, I'm joined by Jess Kebble and Simon Stacey. We're a fans podcast by fans for fans of Northampton Saints. How you both doing?
Good, thank you.
Good, thank you.
Good. We'll get into the Nottingham game fixture shortly, but first things to note is under 18s winning the league.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good achievement down away in Gloucester in the finals day.
Yeah.
Against Bath. Big score. They were all losing at half time, but I think it was like 17 unanswered points or something to the second half to win the game. I think it's also worth noting that the 10 who kicked all the points, Hugh Shields, not only is he son of Paul Shields, team manager, former player, he's also 16.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
No.
So I mean, that's he's been sort of in the commentary pointed out how well he played, etc. But wow, yeah, 16.
How does a hooker produce a fly half?
Well, it's got history because obviously, if you remember Sam Olver.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, good
His
point.
father was a hooker for Saints. But, yeah.
He was.
Yeah, I think all speaking for the union, I think all hookers have failed fly halves. But I think Jamie George was a fly half in his school days, but yeah.
Deal.
But anyway, the last time we actually won that competition, the under 18s league, the team had Ludlam, Mitchell, Furbank in it. I think they've been to the last three finals and lost them. So this generation have obviously beaten that and gone one extra. So really promising, really promising for the future. I think when you're doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Especially against Bath, who probably bought all the talent off the other academies. Allegedly, that's just my opinion. Yeah.
I think all the clubs are doing pretty good jobs. I think the difference is Saints are doing really well at creating pathways and bringing players through. Exception. I think most of the clubs do pretty well at developing talent. I think the difference between potentially Saints and others is we're focused on giving those players opportunities to step up, and largely they've done all gone pretty well, haven't they? So, but yeah, it's really worth noting because it's an excellent achievement from the whole academy setup and what they've done over the course of the year. They've scored a lot of points.
Massive respect to Mr. Hopley, who keeps the chain going.
They also did it without Eduardo Toldado, who we've mentioned before, who was away on international duty, and I think a few of them are well, but yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting on to the Nottingham fixture. I mean, what do you think? It was big scoreline at least.
Yeah, in the end, it was.
Yeah. Once they woke up, it was. Yeah.
Never week of a slow start. Yeah, but yeah, the boys did what they needed to. We only needed a point though, didn't we, to guarantee.
Yeah, but as the tournament goes on, the higher seed you can get, the better.
Of course.
Yeah,
but yeah, I was just thinking, did they go in with the mindset of we've already qualified really, and then they thought, hang on, these boys are actually up for this. We better actually kick ourselves up the arse and start playing.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I doubt they went in with that. I just think there's been a few times this year where they've just not been mentally quite with it, especially at the start of the game, but then throughout a few fixtures. And I think, a team against Nottingham, the talent was on the pitch from Saints to be able to pull that back and, end up putting on the score. But, when we did it against Gloucester, for example, I know we're talking different people, but it's they're very different team sheets, but it's sort of seems to be ingrained in the club a bit at the moment. Big teams don't give you the chance to come back if you have a poor start.
It also was another reshuffle of players, so there were some new faces starting, weren't there? They're obviously not used to playing with each other.
Very true, very true. And I think when Saints put their game on the pitch in attack, there was too much power, too much pace, too much movement. Charlie's Fowler running tight lines around the breakdown, just hitting lines and busting through to get his hat trick, which was really good for him. But when it came to defence, they just seemed to not be either organised well enough as they should be. Big gaps where you wouldn't expect there to be gaps, and just mentally switching off perhaps. But
it could be that, like just what I just said a second ago. Though, if you're not playing with somebody that you're used to, like if you're like the centres, you literally most weeks you'll play and your mate's got that shoulder. if you're not quite sure, I know they train together, but playing's a totally different thing, isn't it? So you might just go, hang on, he's got, oh, no, he hasn't got that. I've got a cover there. And then they're just a bit, but yeah, they did what they had to do in the end, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
And we've got a home.
You also, yeah, so you also have to combine it with Nottingham, who had won nothing at that point. So it was their kind of final chance at home against the Prem champion. So they possibly came out stronger than maybe even they expected, possibly kind of really just put everything out there to try and get kind of the scalp. And then, didn't work out that way in the end, but probably just a combination of lots of things. We had a couple people back from injury, like you said, some new people in and about. And it just took a while it felt like we weren't very good defensively at the beginning, and then we weren't very good defensively at the end. Like we had that prolonged period sort of in the middle where we got all the points and then kind of let them back in a little bit at the end. Although a couple of tries, it seemed like it really was just, that the Saints player slipping, and so a Nottingham player is able to get the ball and go over the line, just kind of little things that just happen in the moment.
Yeah, there's a few bits in the moment, obviously, James slipping, prime example, normal.
Yeah.
He would just, he's too good a player to make that mistake. He'd have dealt with it. It wouldn't have been an issue. And I know it is you can say it's a rotated side, but, a large percentage of those players who are playing have been part of this Prem Cup squad, and they've played plenty of fixtures during this tournament. So, it's one of those ones, a bit bittersweet, because we got exactly what we wanted, but scored a whole lot of points, got all the points we needed to get us into the next round, etc., etc. But just concede 33 points to Nottingham, and it's no disrespect, but it's just it doesn't really.
You say that, but I think was it at least 2, but 3 of the tries were just flukes. Like that, like you said, James slipping, he'd never normally do that. That's a try. The charge down was just a bit of optimism, boom, and he lucky he didn't bounce off and was in the goal area, boom, scores another try. But like we said, could have just been a slow start. They kicked themselves up the arse after conceding a couple, and then obviously they went so far ahead and they were running tries in for nothing. They were just running them in. They probably then took their foot off the gas and went, well, we've won this now. And they were like, hang on, we've got to switch on. These are coming back again. Yeah. One's tiring, not us. It didn't seem to be that way.
Yeah, true. And there was the yellow card for as well, but then they had a yellow card as well. So, it's interesting. I think it's sort of, all systems go in the tournament really, and the way it's likely Ealing at home, it's going to be a tough challenge, but we should win that. And then it's going to be an away semi-final against either Chiefs or Sale, which will be a really tough game. Depending on how strong they go, that might be the end of it. But depending on how results go, we could end up with a home final. So it's a great competition. It's been an interesting competition this season for sure. But we will see. Before we look ahead. Or look into anything else, we've got because we haven't got the a game this weekend. We may as well cover off our predictions.
Yeah.
So
I think I was close.
Wow, let's go.
I literally have. I don't even have any recollection of what I said.
Well, we all.
So what was it? So the difference was 53. 33, wasn't it?
33.
Like 33 points was the margin. Yeah.
All predicted a Saints win. So there's always all minimum. We got 1 point each. Both. Jess, myself, I had the try scorer. So Sieves and Hendy both scored. So Sieves for me, Hendy for Jess. So we'd both be on 2 points. So in terms of the margin, remember you need to be within 3 points of the correct margin to turn your 1 point into 3 points. So me and Jess were quite way off with that one. Jess being 46 and me being 55. Sai, however, got it within the 3 with a 37 projection. Just within. So
wait, hold on. His margin was 37.
37, yeah.
In that case, he's outside of the 3 point margin, isn't he? Because we got 33.
33, 34, 35. Yeah. So, sorry.
Cheers, Jess.
All right.
You were still close. It's like closest.
But no cigar.
You still weren't far off. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
like
so
one try off essentially, isn't it? Like,
so essentially, yeah.
So, James hadn't have slipped, and you'd have been all right.
Yeah. So, but it basically means then the score for the round was 2-1-2. So 2 for Jess, 2 for me, 1 for Si. So no one won the round. So it's still 2-2 for me overall.
I think, no offence, I think to guess that score and be within 1 point away from the margin is very harsh.
Well, you're 1 point from being within 3, so you're 4 points.
Well,
yeah, so you're 4 up, yeah.
Bloody hell.
Unlucky, but had you picked a try scorer, you would have been.
I do. I always pick the previous week's the score the week after. That's the problem.
I'm just lucky that mine got in. I'm pretty sure for the past 3 weeks I've said Hendy waiting for him to finally actually come back, and not only did he come back, but he made good.
Yeah, he definitely did. To be fair though, talking of Hendy, he's been called up to the England A squad.
Yeah.
Along with a few other players, Lambton, Haffer, Green, Lockett, Pearson, and also Pascoe and Withy are both in the squad as well. Eight players in the England A squad, which is in addition to the 7 in the England squad with Alex.
But you've also got to think some of those in the England squad are probably going to, I don't like to say drop down as if they're kind of, but you've got to think perhaps someone like someone won't feature in for England. So
yeah, they won't drop down because there is a training week for both teams. Of England A and England play at the weekend on Saturday, so that's the training squad. So yeah, I think you're right. Maybe the likes of Pollock and Coles and Dingwall won't play for England.
No.
England A, but you're right. They would be sort of, if that was on one off, you'd think they'd be in there. But I mean, you add Hutch to that, and that's 16 players in full international squads essentially.
Yeah.
Not underage groups.
It's kind of odd to me that they haven't named like a Pollock or someone like that, because they're not. I'd be very surprised if they did feature for England. So you just felt like that was a good chance to test them, maybe. So it's a bit strange from that perspective, but
yeah, but because it's on the same weekend as the England team, you need them in that squad training together, testing. We never know. You might see Coles on the bench, or you might see
possibly
involved. I've not been impressed with Slade.
You could make it 21 because if you count the under 20s.
Yeah.
They are available for selection. It's very unlikely they'd get called up for the Saints, but like you've got the Italian lad, the 4 lads away with England. I know McFarlane's injured, but
yeah, and we've got Logan's with Scotland, isn't it? There's a few away in different pockets, but I mean the under 20s aren't going to be this weekend either, though, are they? They'll be. Is it this weekend? This weekend.
Not sure. I mean, I think they do.
I feel like I've forgotten when all of the weeks are.
Yeah, they had a week off this weekend, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they.
So it's this.
Marry the 16th.
They marry the
They play the day before, don't they?
So you're probably most likely, to be fair, going to see Pollock playing in the under 20s fixture.
I don't think you will.
Because he did that. He did that last time, though, didn't he? He was in the England thing, and then he was in the under 20s fixture.
Yeah, but he's been called up to cover Curry, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's fully in the England squad.
Right. Yeah.
So, first time he was just in the training camp.
I thought that's what he was this time. I thought it was just an extended training squad that he was part of. I wasn't sure.
No. It's the training week team.
So
yeah.
Theoretically, Saints, if they were obviously McParters, we would nearly have a whole 23 players missing on international duty.
Yeah, it's good. It's great for the club to demonstrate how well they're producing talent.
And it's not too much of an impact either this weekend, is it? Because
no, we haven't got
games. We haven't got Saints games, so it's not.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the cup's for, isn't it? To essentially fill the gap for the clubs whilst the internationals away. So I wouldn't be too fussed from it from a club point of view.
No.
What it does mean is, we've got 20 players, say 16 players are actually real first team contenders missing, but they're not getting the break that the other squads are getting. If you know what I mean. The players who are regularly playing at Gloucester and Bath and all the teams, Leicester, all those players who are not being called up to the squad, they've probably been given weeks holidays, good recuperation time, rehab work. to get them fit and firing for the Premiership to come back. I mean, I know Dan Cole and Ben Youngs played in the cup game against us, etc. But they're all being managed to make sure that they peak for the Premiership return. Whereas we've got 17 players or 16 players who are going through hell in training camps at international level, trying to prove their worth, and everyone is the highest level. It's not easy. So it's sort of they're all going to almost need a rest by the time they come back.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if all of those players end up not playing as much rugby as we want them to play going forward.
No, it does annoy me though with people like Dingers and Langdon that I know it's only the cup, but they're not released. They're not getting into the 23 for England, so why are they not released back to their clubs?
Yeah.
It's not even been in a sniff of the squad, so what's the point of having them just sitting there training every week? And then Saints could do with them because we got loads of injuries as well.
Yeah, I think the thing being with that though is obviously the professional game agreement or partnership, I think they call it now, professional game partnership, is designed to give England the best chance of being successful. And obviously that's about having best players available to also train, so training standards as high as they can. And
I do get that, but the problem is those players are not going to be playing for 7 weeks solid. That's a long time to not have played any minutes of rugby and then go back to the Premiership and expect them to be full gas blowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they probably that's the thing. How high is the standard of training compared to a Premiership game? International level training is probably pretty high, but I get what you mean as well. But that funds the game essentially, doesn't it? The amount of money that the RFU pay, it's for the right to do that. So you can't really quibble over it because it's a lot of money coming into the club, and they've paid for the rights to do it. And then you get like Scotland, for example, with Hutchinson, when we get him during those weeks when there's no internationals on.
Yeah.
It's sort of rather than just rest than play, I suppose, especially for cup games. Yeah, it's interesting, but yeah. Do you think either of those have got chances other than the two wingers, the two halfbacks? Do we think Dingers, Pollock, Coles got any chance of getting into that 23?
No, I mean I read up on Henry Pollock and he was called up for the three-day training camp as Tom Crow recuperates, but he's expected to be back in full training this week and is expected to play. So I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think he's literally just there because they're one person down at the 3-day camp and that's what they needed. So I'm not expecting him to be involved from this week onwards, from what it looks like they're saying. So then that actually probably does mean that he's most likely going to be in the... Because with Tom Crow, it's not an injury, it's just he had that big surgery, didn't he? So they have to have him on a modified recovery schedule.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully he plays for under 20, so I don't think that will happen because they've got like 8 back rowers in the England squad, but yeah. But maybe, I think Dingwall and Coles have got outside chances. If you think England's lock partnership is probably pretty settled in Martin and Toje, and then it's Chesham and Coles, I suppose, competing for that bench unless they go over 6-2 split.
Yeah, I'd give them maybe 0.1 of a chance just because nothing's impossible, but yeah, I can't really see it for any of them, to be honest with you. I think be surprised if there's any real changes whatsoever. I think they're going to want to go through even with like the Finn and Marcus situation, I should imagine that's probably Finn at 10 for the rest of the tournament, so they can actually get it as settled as possible. So I can't imagine too many changes unless something happens to someone. I mean, George Martin is the other player that's is also continuing rehabilitation. So I suppose maybe your best option is possibly one of the two forwards, but I don't know. I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah, I know they're probably going for settled. You want to be as settled and sort of get as best understanding as possible. I mean, I think this week, Borthwick did an interview when he was sort of saying, isn't it great how Leinster, basically the Ireland team, and they all know each other and all that sort of stuff. But, if you're picking a centre partnership that's proven doesn't work, there's no point sticking with it for 15 games, which seems to be the case. Surely they've got to get Dingwall in there, I think, at some point with Lawrence and see.
I think Slade is who he wants, whether anyone else agrees with it or not. I think that's who he wants for whatever reasons it is that he has, because I don't think Henry Said's proved himself at any point internationally. I've never understood it, but that seems to be who he wants for whatever the reasoning is.
Yeah, no.
Borthwick ball, isn't it? He picks who he likes. He's the same as like you said about Chesham. He's going to pick him because he knew him from them up the road, so he'll pick him over Coles, even though I think Coles is a better player.
Different players. I mean, Chesham's a beast in terms of size, isn't he? A line-out option. Obviously, that Coles is very similar. But Coles is a different type of. He's a different type of player. You know, let alone second row. His work around the park is considerably different and, you know, better than Chesham, but he's not got the grunt that Chesham's got.
Scotland as well, isn't it? So the Calcutta Club.
Yeah, big fixture.
Never won it for many years. So.
We shall see. Yeah, if England can get that off their backs and actually get a win for once. But we shall see.
It's Finn. But yeah, we didn't actually mention.
Well, that's why I still.
Anybody that stood out, did we?
Say again.
We didn't mention in the Saints Notts game anybody that actually stood out. Like,
yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, we should definitely go into that. I mean, key one was Savala, hat trick, first try and hat trick.
It's not bad, is it? On you scoring your first try and you score 3, like buses, eh?
Yeah, and he showed what he can do. You know, he's a big bloke, and he's a physical athlete, and if he can hit the line at the right angle, that seems to be where all his tries came from. That he was just hitting almost one off the ruck, soft shoulders, cutting good lines, and he's got the power to do it. And pretty much getting over, you know, with not much touch anymore, busting through a tackle. You know, that I think obviously shows the difference in level. You would be very, very disappointed if you were conceding tries at a Premiership standard that would look like anything like that. But he's obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, is it Mapu, the number 8? He looked pretty decent. Oh, he's not massively in height, but he's quite wide, and he was a bit of a wrecking ball. Yeah,
it's interesting because I think there's definitely an audition process for that 8 berth, because with Augustus leaving, obviously Sam wanted him to come back, but there's definitely a vacancy. I mean, Ruben Logan, he had the most number of carries and meters, I think, in the under 26 nations, and there's obviously a lot of potential around him. But is it season too soon next year? Who knows?
Yeah, but is the Samoan lad? I know that we signed him as like injury cover, but is it just to the end of the season, or is he signed on for?
I think as things stand, it's just till the end of the season.
Right.
He seems to be an interesting. He grew up like in the PC household in Samoa, so he Ken and George both sort of he was training in the local club in Saints kit because Ken and George are doing it. So it's a great story. I think he just needs probably more game time. So it'll be interesting to see him against Ealing, assuming he plays. But yeah. Anyone else for you?
What was Lockett? Was he just rested? Because he did get a knock on the head, didn't he? Because he didn't play. He didn't play. Or am I being? I don't think.
I think Lockett did play. I'm sure Lockett played.
No, it was Coles. Was it Coles and Lockett then? Or was it Coles and your mate?
Oh, it's Coles and Prowse. You're right. Maybe it's because you are right. I think it's possible because he got called up to the England A squad. Maybe he knew that, so they were giving him best time to prepare.
Yeah.
Because he's played a lot of minutes, hasn't he? Really, since coming back from injury.
Yeah. George looked good again, even though he looked like he was injured from about the 3rd minute. They said he was hobbling along like most of the match, but he still had his little nice touches and cross kicks and But they said the pitch was awful as well, which can't help, especially with a dodgy leg.
Yeah, so really heavy.
Yeah, and they said I remember Graham saying it was proper cold. That's not going to help. You just don't. I don't know if you listened to the commentary, but he was like, "Can we just go and ask the timekeeper just to knock 10 minutes off so we can go home?" Because he said it's bloody freezing up here. So I've never been so cold at a rugby match. Yeah,
I mean, I think it's what that's the shock. That's proper championship standard rugby, where it's not really it's not a stadium. It's a rugby club, and you saw them doing the the Shoe Army song after the match on the video, and it's a proper small old school changing room. A bit of painted walls.
bit like where we played when we were playing amateur back in the day.
Exactly. It's really not much different, The stand, it's an old school pavilion, and then they chucked up a couple of stands, and that's the golfing difference between the leagues, isn't it?
I do wonder why they left Notts County though, unless they chucked them out, because that's a good stadium, and that's where they played when we got relegated. It's just a bit strange. It moved.
It's probably, based on the volume of fans they're actually getting, the costs of running it, and also building from yourself. If you're paying a big rent to Notts County every week, you're losing money, sort of thing. So you want to build from ground up. Put another stand in, have your own rent, build corporate facilities, hospitality facilities, all that sort of stuff. You can't really do that renting the ground, can you?
No, I get that, but it just seems a bit strange when you move from like a mid-league football team's pitch and stadium to a back in the day like amateur ground. But I get it; it's money in it. That's the end of the day.
Yeah. So owning your own ground is the big factor, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, they did what they did, and we were all on the edge of our seats to see if we actually got a home quarter, because we were ranked 5th, weren't we? Until Quins and Sarries and Quins, we had to find out what happened with them.
Yeah. And so it ended up being Saturday, 1st of March, 3:00 kickoff, which loads of people I'm sure will be really happy about.
Definitely.
It's Saturday, 3:00 kickoff, the Ealing, which you'd think when you look at it, that's the team you'd want as well, isn't it? I mean, it probably leads to a pretty tough away semi-final, but of all the teams, Ealing's the one. Ealing go their strongest, we should be able to beat them. If Exeter or Sarries or whoever go their strongest as a game, isn't it? It's going to be a great encounter, but it's much.
Yeah, I mean, I'd maybe question. I'd question at the moment maybe Chiefs. Would that be a game? But it could be a hard.
They may target that competition though, because they're doing so crap.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They probably will.
Yeah, well, it's no different to when we went really strong in it under Boyd. I think it was Boyd's first year, second year, when Big T was playing in the side and all that.
Yeah,
that was the only chance we had a silverware that year, so we went massive in it, and it builds that team's confidence, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah. So should we have a very brief think ahead to Ealing? I know we're a week or two away, but I'm expecting sort of similar team sheet, similar approach. We just need to be more on it. Hopefully the Gardens will bring the best out of them and will be a bit more focused early in the game.
I think they'll go as strong as they possibly can, obviously, because it's the quarter final. But it depends who we've got, doesn't it? Who's free? If they keep carrying on taking all these England internationals and that, we're literally running on empty, aren't we?
So I'll ask you a question then. So quarter final, if available, do we pick Kemeny, Augustus? Do we pick those boys?
I would.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people that you just know will play. Like, Hendy is going to, because he's one game back in. So you're going to have someone like that. You'll have Tom James, because I think that's pretty much all we have left. with Mitch and McParlin. So that I think there'll be some strong people that just absolutely have to be in there, because we don't actually have any other choices other than some fairly strong people left. Be interesting with Berger, because he's now officially not on the injury list.
Yeah, interesting.
So it'd be interesting if, not necessarily saying he's going to get a starting position with no rugby in a quarterfinal and a massive injury, but there's every chance you might see him off of the bench potentially, which is, even after coming back from an injury, he's still he's still going to be strong and he's still going to give you something. So I think some strong people will show. This England A game this is a one-off, isn't it? So do we get the rest of them?
They will be back, but obviously they'll come. A lot of them having never experienced that scenario of going away for a week camp and then coming back on a Monday to preview the weekend. So that will be an experience for them to learn. But you're right. You could say, because I think I really enjoyed watching the Savala-Litchfield partnership when it's played. Obviously, Litchfield had a few games injured, etc. But I'd keep that together. But Berger off the bench would be really great to see him back. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
And
then you've got to figure they'll stick with Seabrook, for example, won't they? So there's still going to be some strong people that just really by necessity are going to have to actually be in there.
If we go full goo, you're looking at a team like Manny, Landon, Big Trev, Lockett, Kemeny, Scott Young, Augustus, James, back three, Hendy, Ram, Seabrook. It's still a really, it's a team that you wouldn't be. So if you went into a Premiership match with that team, you'd be like, oh, it's going to be tough, but you never know.
But there's a chance, exactly.
So you'd think you'd back them to win at home in a Premiership Cup game against against Ealing, sorry. But, we'll look better more into that next week when we have a better idea. I think it's been other than the Nottingham game, it's been obviously a quiet week for the club. Having said that, under 18s winning and all the call ups, etc. But is there anything else we should cover off before we let everyone go?
Sure, there is.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Have we had any signings this week? Oh yeah, Archie re-signed, didn't he?
Yeah, it's great news. I mean, so they often do that after someone gets a long-term injury, don't they? They sort of announce it just to make everyone sort of remember that he's there. But that's a great signing because I think with him in Makepeace Cubit, they've got a half sort of a understudy halfback partnership for the next few years. That's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, it has been sort of a quiet week really, which is weird after you've also had a quiet weekend because there's not been any internationals either. So it's kind of a weird, sort of a weird 2-week period really. But yeah, it's sort of all back in full swing for this weekend with the internationals and next weekend with the quarterfinal. So some stuff to look forward to.
Yeah,
exactly. Unless as we haven't got a game, unless you want to do the prediction of the England-Scotland game.
We can have a prediction, but we can't include it in our.
No, a prediction. Just a quick.
No.
What do you reckon? I think England are going to win it.
I think England are going to win it also.
If the Scots roll up to, is that Twickenham, isn't it? If they roll up to Twickenham again and beat England, Borthwick's head's got a roll. I'd have thought.
Yeah. I'll go 22-18.
Oh, I'm gonna go.
I think Steve. Tandy's defenses are always good, but
I'm gonna go 28-15.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 35-21. But if England don't beat Scotland again, with the resources available to both those nations,
and they should still be running a high of beating France as well, which literally nobody had on their cards. So they should hopefully carry that into. And like you said, you beat the Scots, and I still think Ireland are going to probably end up winning the whole thing and probably going to get the Grand Slam. But you still give yourself a chance of, because anything could happen. France might be really, really angry at what happened, and they might rock up in Ireland and just blow them to smithereens. So anything's still on the card. So you've got to get the win against Scotland, because on the off chance that Ireland do lose, the whole thing's still open for the taking from somewhere.
If Ireland start like they did against England, against France, they could be too far behind before to catch up.
Yeah.
There's so many unknowns on it, isn't it? Like Ireland have not been performing their best. I wouldn't say neither of France. So I'd actually say that anything could happen. I mean, that's week 4, isn't it? So realistically, we'll probably know by round 4 whether if Ireland win that, then they're going to win, aren't they? Realistically. So we'll know. But then if they don't, round 5 is going to be very exciting. But yeah, we've got to get the win against Scotland because it keeps us in the competition as well. Like there's still, the win is still on.
It'd be very French though to go to Ireland and win.
100%. It'd be very Irish for them to be on for the Grand Slam and not get it. Like that's what I mean. Like, anything.
They did back to back, didn't they? Like so.
No, I'm not saying they haven't. I'm not saying they haven't done it. But if you think about like both of their sort of performances at the last World Cup, they both drastically underperformed, didn't they? So
Yeah, well, Ireland at a World Cup are a very different unit to Ireland.
Yeah.
It used to be the case with the All Blacks. The All Blacks in every other tournament, every other game other than the World Cup were unbeatable, and then they'd get to the World Cup and it was a guaranteed loss in the semi-final. But you get that with Ireland, but it's a guaranteed loss in the quarters, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be very French for them to turn up and beat Ireland and throw things into it, but then it brings them into it as well, doesn't it? So,
that's what I mean. It sort of brings everybody into it.
Yeah.
Like, as much as it brings France back into it, it also keeps us into it, doesn't it? So, yeah, anything could. I still think that's probably Ireland as a Grand Slam's probably still the favourite thing to happen. Like if you were going on the bookies odds, but
yeah,
who knows? Honestly,
you do say us, Jess, but don't forget he's an Aussie.
Yeah, I'm a
yeah. I know. Yeah, he's neutral. He's neutral this time.
I want to see the Welsh rugby team turn up for once,
Well, I don't think that's going to happen.
They always turn up and don't play rugby.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not good.
Yeah. They arrive physically.
It's not good for the tournament seeing Wales so poor, is it? That's the problem.
The thing is, it's never good for seeing anybody so poor. Like every year when Italy used to never get anything, you always used to be like, "Come on, lads, please, do something." And I remember saying it, I think last week or the week before, like it's become a thing of, oh yeah, we can put the easy team out against Italy, and this year it's very much been we can sort of save people for the Wales game. And it's been such a long time since it hasn't been Italy being kind of the obvious last place person. But now with Italy beating Wales, I mean, I think it's pretty much almost a guaranteed wooden spoon at this point if they don't fuck their ideas up. And I can't see that happening.
No, I agree.
Gatlin's just left now, and I can't see the turnaround happening instantly.
That was a stupid move, I thought.
I think it's a stupid move to have kept him that far.
Yeah, I mean, the state of Welsh rugby is the problem, not the purpose. But
no, it's a whole issue with everything.
Well, Italy are playing and have done for the last few years. They've started to turn that corner, and you've got to attribute a lot of that work to what Conor O'Shea did when he went there and built those pathways. Yeah. And he's done it really well for England as well. You've got to put a lot of credit to Conor O'Shea and what he can bring.
Yeah.
It's sort of Wales should offer him a blank checkbook to go and do the same over there, really, because he clearly is very good at what he does in terms of building pathways. Yeah. But anyway, we shall see. Very interesting. Thanks everyone for listening. It's been another episode of Beneath the Lift Tower. My name's been Charles. Jess has been Jess. Simon's been Simon. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.